All right, instead of making like this tutorial, what I always do where I know what I'm going to create, this time I'm going to do a video where I just show the process of coming up with an idea. So at this point, I have actually no idea what I'm going to create. So what I did here was I downloaded all these images here. You can see they're all underwater images. And I just want to try to create something. So I have no idea what it will be at this point, and I just want to show you the process of how to come up with ideas to create something. So let's just jump right into Photoshop and start with creating a new file. I'm gonna go for 2160 to 700. That's 2 times Instagram size. Resolution doesn't matter because we don't use it for print now. Press create. All right. First thing, what I want to do is I want to create something underwater. So I will eventually first create like a bit of a blue background, some navy blue kind of background. Something like this is fine. Right. So now if we go to the images that I have, let's see. I have all these images downloaded, and this I can work on later. Maybe if I want to change the surface to half underwater, half above water. But first I want to create something underwater. And this image, not this one, I like this one a lot because we have like this close-up shot of this shark. So let's try to do something with that. So first just drag it in this file, and let's try to put it something like maybe like this, right? So we don't have to cut this out. We can just make a mask here and just grab a brush, bring the hardness all the way down, and just brush these parts with a black brush. Make sure it's black here and brush this away. It doesn't matter if you see these edges here where the water ends, and later on we can fix that, so don't worry about that. You can eventually double click on this layer and just sample one of these colors to match it even better. So this is fine. And this part here, you can just brush a bit more here. Let's see, like that. Oh, just a bit of brushing. You can also use select subject, and you can see here if we just do it like this, we can also get rid of the background. Select inverse, get rid of it. It's a bit too much, so let's bring it back there. That's one little thing that got better in the latest version of Photoshop. You can see this is good. All right, let's go on to the next photo. Maybe you can put something like something glowing in front of him. I have like these jellyfishes. Let's see if I have one more. Maybe these will work. Let's do this one. Just drag it here. Now you want to make sure this is like real black. So I'm gonna press Ctrl L, bring up the levels, and press this one and press here. So now you're sure it's like real black instead of gray. Just change the blend mode to screen, and let's make this smaller. Let's see. You can see here it looks like he's watching to the side or something. Maybe you can change the eye later on to the front, but that's not important now. That those are little things that you can do later. First, you want to make sure you have like some interesting composite going on. So something like this, or maybe here. Let's put it in front of him, like that. Later on, we can change the eye to like he's watching this jellyfish. All right. Now you can see here there's a little bit of stuff going on there, so I'm gonna create a mask and just get rid of this bit so you don't see where this image ends, because everyone watches this on a different screen, and some screens are really bright, and on bright screens you will notice these little flaws. Right, I think this is fine. Let's move out here. Let's see. Let me save this because last time I started recording and my computer crashed when I was working, so let's just name this shark. All right, let's make this lighter, this jellyfish, so we can make it glow. So first I'm gonna move this one there. Make sure to press this to get these highlights like really light, like that. right? So let's also do the shark a bit lighter. I feel like he's a bit too dark. Also doing some curves here, like that, just a bit lighter, right? And this jellyfish now is like sort of purple, and I want to make sure he's blends better with this image. So what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna first get rid of this. You can also try here different colors to get rid of it, maybe a bit less red or magenta. But I'm gonna do for mask now and just drop this. That's pretty much it. You can even drop this more. Let's make it almost white, like that. And I want to make this bigger because I feel like it needs to be a lot bigger now to make this whole composite more interesting to watch. And you can see here the quality of this shark isn't that good, so I'm gonna try to fix the quality here first. So let's make sure to press the layer of it and go to filter, camera raw filter, and here I can try to make the quality a bit better. So what I'm looking for is sharpening. Let's increase that one, and a bit less noise. So I need to play with the settings to make sure it looks good, but it doesn't have too much noise. You can also increase the textual clarity here a bit, like that. You can see all these bubbles are popping out now. And that's already better. And let's make this one smaller, like that. All right, let's add another image to this because I feel like this is too empty now. Let's see, maybe we can do some more of these jellyfishes to create some depth here. Make sure you add the image not in between those layers, but like above it or under it. Maybe like this. Press Ctrl L again to make this blue like black, and just change this to screen. And I can move this around, and let's rotate this a bit so we can fill up this whole area. I think this is fine. And what I want to do now is also get rid of these colors here, just a bit less colorful. We will add colors later on in the process of this design, because first you want to make sure they blend well together. Right, now we have this jellyfish on top, and I feel like he's close to the camera, so what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna blur him out so we create some nice depth here. Just don't do it too much. You need to find like the perfect spot for this. So take something like this. Press OK, and this one, let's see. This is our smart filter. This one we can get rid of a bit of this blur. Let's see, blur. Let's get rid of this blur a bit there, like that. So it looks like the focus is like here in the center, right? So this is fine. We can now eventually even give it some curves. If you want to make this popping out, let's make them pop out. Let's get rid of the midtones here, so we get a nice contrast. Right, I think this is fine. The only thing I don't like here is this jellyfish is so like purple. So what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna create another hue and saturation layer because I like this color now, but I don't like this one. So I'm gonna create another hue and saturation layer on top of it. Also press this, and for this hue and saturation layer I can just remove it here so I don't affect this area, but only the area from this jellyfish. So let's see, you can see you can change only this one like that. So that makes it easier to just control everything separately. All right, I think this is okay for now. Let's add another image. Don't forget to save your work, or else you're gonna get your work lost if you crash your computer or something like that. I even got like the latest MacBook, but it still crashes when I work with big sizes, so that's really disappointing. All right, let's see if this one could be in the background. Let's do again the Ctrl L thing to make them dark. And this thing here I can just brush a bit away. I don't like this stuff here, don't need it. let's make him somewhere there, and also blur them out. Now, for the background, if you have stuff in the background that you want to blur out, you want to use lens blur instead of Gaussian blur for the background. This is a lot better for stuff in the background. You can see it looks more realistic than the blur. Right now, we need to get rid of this part here, just all this mess here. Right, so let's also drop the opacity of this guy in the background. And now you can make a smart object again. Of course, you can't change the amount of blur anymore, so you need to make sure you have that right. So maybe it needs to be a bit smaller, like that. All right, anyways, let's add something more to this before we start doing like final adjustments and getting all the lighting and stuff like that, right? Let's see what we have here. I have like maybe not the jellyfish. Let's do these. Let's do these guys here, and again press Ctrl L, make this black, just move it around somewhere in the background. And of course we have to do this lens blur thing again. So first I want to check if this looks good. Looks a bit messy now, but I can always rearrange stuff later on. So I want to make this one even smaller, like that. And these guys here a bit bigger, like they are closer to our camera. So we had an amount of lens blur that I applied to this guy here. So these need to be a little bit less blur. So I'm gonna rasterize this again and go to filter, blur, lens blur. Now lens blur automatically saves the less blur, so it was 30. Now I would move this a bit down, let's say around 7, 8 or something. Press OK. You can see we get a little bit less blur. Now I need to make sure they are bigger. Let's see, something like this. This needs to be smaller again. So eventually you can spend a lot of time arranging stuff like this to make it look better. Maybe even like that. Maybe you need to switch those because they take a lot of space now and I don't want to lose focus on this shark. So let's just move them there and flip this one horizontal. We can later on add some other stuff. Let's also make sure this one is facing him a bit like that. And this one a bit up, so we have all the focus on this shark in the center. And all that stuff at the around them is just extra stuff to fill the area up. You can later on add some grass. All right, let's get the lighting right because I feel like this shark is way too light for this composite now. So I'm gonna find this shark layer and first let's add some curves to drop the lighting here like that. So once we got the lighting like darker, press on the mask and use brush to bring back the original lighting. So we have this jellyfish here, so light's gonna hit him here, maybe a bit here, front, just a bit like there. I think we can even make them darker. So once you got that brush, you can even just use these sliders and try to get it right like that. And now you can see here, let's move them a bit up. I think it needs to be a bit bigger. So you can see here already how long a video could be if I just do it like this every time, because it takes a lot of time to just rearrange stuff and change everything again until you got it right. So I'm doing my best here to try to make this like a quick video, but you can see already it's getting really long. Anyways, let's get to the shark again, and here I'm gonna create a edit fill layer and fill it with 50% gray, change the blend mode to overlay, and let's do the dodge here because we have this really light area at the front. I want to make sure this is lighter like that. You can see here there's a bit difference between the quality of these images, so but I'm sure we can fix that later. Maybe not too much on the bottom side, just a bit like that. I think this is okay for now. the colors don't really match. So what I'm gonna do here is I'm gonna get rid of the color of this shark. There's all this blue. Oh, that's too much. Just a bit less color. And this one, this little thing here, could have a bit more blue. And try to use these sliders to get the same blue as this reflection. So maybe something like this. Right, so let's just move this a bit around. All right, I think this is fine. All right, these guys in the background, we need to make them darker. So I'm gonna do curves again and just drop all these highlights from them. Don't forget this, like that, so they blend better. Now the same for this one. He's way too light. You can also just drop the opacity here if you're too lazy. All right, this jellyfish here on top, I want to make them glow. Let's see, this layer curves. Let's make another curve on top of it. And this time I'm gonna bring up the highlights like that. Now press Ctrl I to get rid of it again and just brush some parts lighter. Now we have this light here, so we need to make sure the shark also gets some reflection from it. So I'm gonna see which layer that was, this one. And now I can just like that. Like it's a bit lighting here, a bit less on this area because we don't have light source around this area, but we have here and here, right? And this area, let's see, maybe we can put another jellyfish here on the bottom of it. So that way we have like 3 jellyfish that are glowing up on this shark. Let's see how this one looks. I want to make sure it's like separate layer. Gonna go all the way up, create a new layer so don't mess anything up, and just drag it. Press Ctrl L again, pick the black one and change the screen. Now let's see if we can move this here. Let's make a mask and get rid of these little stuff here because I don't really match this. All right, let's make this bigger. Oh. And move these down. Let's move them away from here. All right, we need to get rid of these colors, this blue. Maybe they're going up like that. We need to get rid of this blue first. So first let's make your saturation, get rid of this blue again. Like that. And make them darker curves. So that's basically actually only thing you need to know. No, not exposure curves. You just need to get the colors, the lighting right. And that's pretty much it. Especially on the water, it's not that difficult. Let's see. Let's bring it back on top. And let's make another curve, and this one is for the glow. So this time I'm gonna move this like really to that side. Press Ctrl I to get rid of it. And just brush it back on these areas. And now we can eventually make the shark lighter on the bottom side. So let's see. I have all these layers now, so it's gonna get difficult to find stuff. Like here, right? All right, that's pretty easy. Maybe this one a bit smaller. All right, now let's do some, let's do some dodge again to get this right. A bit more here. So we get nice highlights now. And you can eventually even line it up like his teeth a bit. Just little stuff like that. Just don't do it too much, and maybe also his eye. Some important stuff. All right, let's do some little things like bubbles. I have like this image here. Where is it? This girl here. I can use this for the bubbles. Just make sure to put it above all the layers so I don't mess anything up. So going up, create a new layer. And just move this here. Now, change this. Don't forget to press Command Ctrl L, make it black. change it to screen. And now we can create some bubbles here around the shark. Let's get rid of this girl. I don't want her in this composite. Let's see, get rid of her. Also get rid of these. Just a bit of these bubbles will make it look more realistic. I can still see a hand there. Let's get rid of a hand. Right. Just make sure it doesn't go over these images because these bubbles are in the background and not in the foreground. Right, and now you can just duplicate this with Ctrl J. Do some more here. Maybe some more here for this one. I think this is fine. I don't really like these guys here. They are, I don't know, they don't really fit this composite, so not sure about this. Maybe I will change that one. All right, now we can move stuff around again, like always, just moving stuff around. You can see here I didn't brush that well. All right, now let's go to the next stage, and it is to get everything better. So first, let's save this. And now I'm gonna do is create a new layer and press Command or Control Alt Shift E. So we have like this duplicated version. Now we can just convert this to a smart object. Then go to Filter, Camera Raw Filter. So Camera Raw Filter is probably my favorite part of everything because here I can just move the sliders around until I get something nice. So let's first make it a bit more blue. Let's move this one to the left. And let's see, and a bit more green. Now, let's see if we can change the lighting here a bit. I wanna have it a bit darker. Or a bit lighter. Let's make it a bit darker. A bit less contrast. And increase the highlight. So you get all these nice lighting popping out. Shadows we can also make darker now. And the whites, let's drop these so we don't have too much like white areas. And the blacks, let's see. Let's do a bit more. All right. The texture and clarity, this is one is really good because if I do this, you can see it gets really soft and it's kind of nice effect, but you don't want to lose the quality of this image, so you gotta increase the clarity if you do that. So you can drop this like really to this side if you want. And let's see, let's do it like this. Maybe a bit dehaze. All right, let's see if we can move this one a bit to right to get nice more colors. Let's not touch saturation, and this one, let's leave those. Let's give it a bit more sharpening. So you have a nice high quality image. Like that. And this is also a good part here with the colors. We don't have much colors here. It's more like only aquas and blues. So if you want to have more green in your design, you can move this one to the left. But I want to have it a bit more blue. So I'm going to move this to the right. And this one to the left. And this is like from the jellyfish. Let's move it a bit like that. Right, let's go to saturation. Let's see aquas again. So we have nice colorful image. Like that. Purples, don't need that one. And luminance to get these white areas not too wide. Like that. And just a bit of these. Let's leave them like that. All right, let's move on to vignette. Let's add a vignette here. So we have more focus on the shark instead of the stuff around it. Like that. All right, and the last one is the calibration in here. You can also get the colors even better. Let's see, maybe a bit more greenish. Like that. Play around with the settings until you get something that you like. So this is really what you like. Maybe like it more blue, maybe more green. It all depends on the whole image, what you like. Let's give it a bit more blue. All right, press OK, and you can see now the difference. It was first like this, and now it got like this. I like this a lot more. All right, these guys here, I don't like them. So what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna add a blur. So go to filter blur. Let's give it a bit of a blur because it's like annoying. Let's first duplicate this layer, rasterize it. Let's give it a lens blur. So I'm only watching these guys here. I want to blur them a bit out. And now I can just make a mask. Press Ctrl I to make sure I only blur them out and not the rest of this image. So like that. Maybe even more. Let's see, filter blur, lens blur. I don't like how the way look. They look a bit fake to me. All right, this is fine for now. I can go on with adding more bubbles and stuff like that, but I'm not gonna do that. I'm gonna open this up in Lightroom to show you what I usually do. All right, so I got this into Lightroom, and usually I apply one of my presets. If you want to get these, you can check the link in the description. And they work for stuff like this, digital art, but also for photography. If you want to make your photos like different, more creative, you can use these. All right, so I'm gonna make this one. So just export this and add another one. So I have like two things I did in Lightroom to change this image a bit, to get it a bit more creative. Maybe like this. There's one problem here. This quality of the shark isn't that good, so it's a bit bad. But okay, I can change that. We are already at the end of this design. So I exported these, and what I'm gonna do now is to open these up in Photoshop again. So let's see, first one was this. Let's open this in Photoshop. You can see here it's a bit different, but we don't want it too much, just a bit, to make this a bit better. We don't want to ruin the image. And also this one, put it above it, drop the opacity here, and that's it. And now I can just finalize this design by making stuff better. I can also add some stuff here in the foreground. Maybe let's make a duplicated version of this and convert this to a smart object again. And now I'm gonna go again in camera raw filter. So this is a process I most of the time do. I just create something, go into like Lightroom, change it, add some presets, then go again in here. And sometimes I just go the whole day. I can just spend on trying out different stuff until I get something that I like. So this was just a quick way to show you how I do this whole process. And you can see here, I think I did this is fine. Looks pretty good. Of course, the whole idea could be better, but this is okay. Now what I'm gonna do is, let's save this. I'm gonna try to change the surface a bit here. So what I'm gonna do now is to, let's see, I have one of these images here. I think this one might work. Let's try this one. And what I'm gonna do now is I'm gonna copy this side, put it above it, and we can create something like this. We can even make the fin of the shark sticking out there. Let's first press this a bit here to create the surface. Now you can see we don't have this, where is it? There it is, this jellyfish. So usually it's always like this struggle with, you create something and then I think, oh man, this even look better. So I did the jellyfish for nothing, if that makes sense. Right, so let's move this a bit like that. All right, I don't like this guy. Let's move this like here. And now what I would do is to get rid of this stuff again, because I don't want to have this stuff here anymore. I'm gonna get rid of it. And that's what I said in the beginning. This video is to show you how I change stuff again and create something, then go back to without the stuff. If that makes sense. So usually I just spend a lot of time on just doing stuff and changing and then going back to stuff, and you can spend a lot of time on trying out different stuff. So let's do it like this. I think I like this a bit more than with the jellyfish. And we don't need this guy here, maybe, or maybe let's leave him. All right, next thing to do here is to blend this better together. So I have a feeling this video got way too long now, but let me just finish it how I would do it. I would need to make this darker because it's a bit dark there. Maybe, or maybe lighter like that. Get rid of these colors. And we have like this light on top here is, I think it's like pink. So I'm gonna sample this color here and bring this color a bit in the water so it blends better. So what I would do is to change this overlay, or maybe color will work here. No, color is too much. Let's try overlay or soft light and bring it a bit down. You can duplicate this so it blends better. Let's do another one here. Just move these around. Let's see if I do one here. No, that's too much. And now we can just try to move stuff around. Well, you get the point of this. I also try to blend things better with, for instance, gradient maps, because there's different colors now. And let's see. Let's try some gradient. Maybe one of these. So I'll just scroll through these to get something nice. Let's see which one will work here. I'm just scrolling through all these. I do that all the time just to check every gradient I have. I think I like one of the first here. It was like blue. This one, and maybe this is too much. Let's try this one and just drop the opacity here. Change it to soft light or overlay. Maybe color if you like this. So anyways, you get the point what I'm doing here. It can be a long process of trying to fix this and get it all right. So this is how I usually create stuff, and at this point I just make things better. I would even remove this guy here. He's like annoying me now. Let's get rid of him. You can just get rid of him by selecting him and go to edit, content aware fill, and let's make sure it looks all right here. You can see my notebook is getting really slow now. We have too much layers. All right, that doesn't look right, but whatever, man. Need to make this like that. All right, so you get the point of this. It's gonna take a lot of time to get things right how you want to, but this is basically how I create stuff. So this is the final design after I did all this stuff. So I hope you like this video and maybe it will work for you to create something cool. So thanks for watching. I hope you enjoyed this video and I hope to see you in the next one.